Good afternoon to all academic leaders and faculty colleagues. My name is Dr. Samir Karkhanis, and I'm the CEO of Yangpoo University Partners, the host for today's session. This is a part of our monthly micro learning series known as the Authors Lounge, where we invite the best in the world academicians, case writers, authors, and experts who are able to share some best practices, which we all faculty members can then learn and use in the classroom. So, thank you very much for joining us for this micro session curated specifically for academicians in a world where students are losing respect for faculty members. Students today in our classroom are asking for interactivity. They are asking for real engagements and outcomes. They want to be a part of the conversations. And many a times we academicians fall short somewhere in this world of instant gratifications, right? So this series is meant to give some best practices on how we can help our academicians to perform better in the classroom, win the confidence and trust of the students, and learn together in this entire activity of teaching and learning. And what better than simulations, right? Simulations are one of those most powerful kind of tools, very easy to use, and you will see that today, which helps students to be a part of the decision making process, increase their engagement, help them in the learning outcomes. So that is the idea of today's session, and we have a fantastic person who is going to help us through this entire journey, and he is Tim Rogmans, the founder and managing director of Sim Institute, and a globally respected authority on case study writing, simulations. He is one of the most award winning business simulations and games creator. So we all are lucky today to learn from the creator himself, who has together some of the world's most widely used simulations by universities and corporates. More than 2 lakh people have used these simulations. Most importantly, as this event is jointly hosted by Yangpoo University Partners and Harvard Business Impact, that's Harvard Business Publishing, Dr. Tim also is a faculty advisor for Harvard Business Publications, where he supports business educators like all of us globally to integrate simulations into their curriculum, advance classroom engagements, and learning outcomes. So that's his background. Many of his award-winning simulations, many of you must have been using, is on circular economy in fashion, net zero, one of the most widely used simulation in the world of sustainability. Market entry is a business strategy simulation. A coffee shop, again a business essential simulation. All of these are on the Harvard Business Publishing platform, and I will urge all of you to go through that. And Dr. Tim is a PhD, and he's also having an MBA from the prestigious INSEAD and a BSc in economics from the prestigious London School of Economics and Business. So we are going to have a great time with his experience from academia, from the industry. He's been the director of Center of Excellence at the Zayed University in Dubai. So a lot of interactive opportunities for us. But see, more than all of this, what is going to be more important is that we want to give you this message: simulations are easy to operate. Many of you may be first time users, doesn't matter. Okay, simulations you can use in the classroom to make the classroom teaching learning very interesting and engaging, and Dr. Tim is going to show us that. We are going to spend the next 1 hour together, in which the format is such that Dr. Tim will first probably set the context for the first 30 minutes. Also, we are going to have a live demonstration. He and his colleague are going to perform a simulation and show us all. In between, we'll be breaking out for some question and answer sessions. So let's make it highly interactive, engaging, informal, and enjoy the best of this micro learning series. Thank you very much again. And Dr. Tim, the stage is all yours. I'm sure we are going to have a great time together.
Thank you so much, Dr. Samir and Yangpoo, for organizing this session. And thanks already to all the participants for your interest. We'll proceed exactly as Dr. Samir suggested. And for that, I will share some slides, which should be coming onto your screen right now. So, indeed, when we think about how to engage students today, just reading off PowerPoint slides and lecturing people will put students to sleep. Asking them to write long assignments will actually tempt students to use artificial intelligence and get that to do the work for them. So really, we need to change our approach as educators. And I'm not saying that we should never lecture to students or we should never use books or case studies, but we need to increase the variety of learning methods that students use. And simulation games have been used more and more and provide excellent opportunities to engage students. So in terms of this picture, we're trying to move from the left to the right. And in the right-hand side, you see students working together, enjoying themselves, and they may even forget that they're in a class. They're just applying their learning and having a good time. So what do we mean by business simulation games? You see a formal definition on top of the page there. They are internet-based artificial learning environments where students make decisions in a complex and dynamic settings, and they receive real-time information and feedback. So usually students will be managing a company, make decisions on behalf of that company for a number of years, let's say 5, 6, or 7 years. And then each year they get results in a dashboard, they get feedback, and based on that feedback, they can then make new and better decisions for the next year. As a whole, simulations really provide a risk-free environment for students to apply their learning. And then once they've done that, and maybe they have made mistakes and learned from these mistakes, they will become better employees and managers in the workplace after graduation. So on the bottom here, we see a few points about simulations. As I mentioned, they can motivate student learning, and they also act as this bridge between your contents and the real world. Often students see PowerPoints or textbooks and say, well, what does that mean in the real world? And even if you apply little case studies, they can help to illustrate it, but students won't be applying their learning really without the simulation. And that also highlights the difference between case studies and simulations. In a case study, students read about a about a situation, and then they will say what they would do if they were the manager. But that's all they do. In a simulation, students think about what they would do as a manager, and then they actually make these decisions and they get feedback. So that's what makes simulations so interesting and explains why they've been adopted in more and more countries, in more and more universities across the world, and also across business disciplines. There's a growing portfolio of simulations available now. So I'm just trying to move down one page. Many faculty members are still hesitant when it comes to using simulation games. I hear many people say, I love to be experiential and innovative in my teaching methods, but this semester I'm too busy because I have research obligations or because I have an administrative role at the university. So this semester I will not do it, but next semester I will do it. And then next semester, often the situation is the same and people keep on postponing. My advice to these people is, just get started. Start with a small class, with a simple simulation, and then over time expand and improve. When faculty have been asked why they don't use simulations, more specifically, they feel sometimes that there's a level of risk involved. Again, because when students use a simulation, the teacher moves to the background and is no longer in complete control. If you have a bunch of PowerPoint slides, you can choose when you click and you can tell students to be quiet and you're in control, but you don't actually know if your students are engaged or actually learning anything. So that's why sometimes people feel that there's a lack of control and think, well, how will my students feel about it? But once simulations are deployed, actually that concern disappears quite quickly. A second concern that faculty mentioned is suitability. Are there games that are suitable for my class? And the answer there becomes more and more positive over time as the portfolio of available simulations increases. Harvard Business Impact alone now has 134 simulations as part of its platform. So there's really every discipline within the business school represented there. And then people, they think teaching the simulations will cost money and time. The money is actually not that much. There are less expensive simulations and more expensive. But if you think about the impact that it can have on your course, how it transforms the entire experience for students, then I think it is money well spent. In terms of time resources that need to be spent to get ready, yes, it's always better to be prepared than not to be prepared, but sometimes people overestimate how much time is needed in order to be successful in teaching the simulations. You can get started. You don't need to have an answer to every student question right at the start, and you can make it a success with just, a couple of hours of preparation. So these obstacles, they exist, but my message is they can be overcome quite easily. One way for me to try and help faculty members to get started with simulations is to get them to see it as a 7-step process. So the whole thing just gets broken down. And with each step, there's just a few things that you can think about in order to make your intervention successful. So let me say a few things about every step. I have more slides behind this, but I will only use these if there are specific questions that will help, where the slides will help. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, can a simulation game help with my course? The answer will very often be yes, but maybe in some cases you don't have enough time in a class, or you think really there's no good simulation available for your topic, then the answer might be no. And if the answer is no, it's better not to use a simulation than to use one that doesn't fit your course. Because if you use one that doesn't fit your course, your students will say, well, that was nice, but they will think, why did we do this? The second step then would be to identify and select a simulation game. And the Harvard Business Impact platform is a good place to start. You have a lot of simulations there, and you can look at them, try them for free, and then make a final selection. There's a number of things that you look at there. You look, for example, at the length of a simulation, the contents, the extent to which it fits with your course, whether they are played individually or in teams, and other factors. But then you should make an assessment really based on your needs. Then thirdly, you make a lesson plan, which is very much like a normal lesson plan for any class that you give. One key component that students always want to know about is how will my learning be assessed when I use this simulation? Will my game score be translated into a grade for the course or not? My advice would usually be not to do that, but I know that there's many good professors who actually prefer counting the game score as part of the grade. But I would usually recommend to assess learning through a learning reflection, which can either be written or as a presentation. And again, ChatGPT will not help students to write that learning reflection because it's an individual reflection based on the results that the students made in the game, the decisions that they made in the game and the results that they got. So besides that, for the lesson plan, you just need to prepare these steps 4, 5, and 6, brief, play, and debrief, but that can be done in quite a simple manner. So then you come to your actual class where you use a simulation, and always think brief, play, debrief. In the brief phase, you recap any theory that you think students might need to know in order to play the simulation, and then you explain the simulation to them. And we'll do this live in just a second. During the play phase, the challenge for the instructor is to stay in the background. The students, they will enter a flow, they will be playing. You should not give additional instructions the whole time or interfere with what they're doing. Just be available, answer questions if they have them, but if they don't, just let them get on with it. And that's actually an interesting challenge for many faculty member, not to be, the wise man on the stage the whole time, but actually to let students be responsible for their own learning. And if they play in teams, actually, to let students help each other and learn from each other. But being a quiet observer of students enjoying themselves and learning, I think is the most satisfying experience as an instructor. And then once they finish playing, you do a debrief where you ask students for their feedback. You can review the results. I will show you that. And then you can consolidate the learning and then begin to link that learning back to the contents of your course. And then finally, you will do a quick evaluation of how successful the intervention with the simulation was. And this can be done through focus groups or small surveys or in other different methods. But doing that will allow you always to keep on improving. So these are the 7 steps for teaching with simulations. And just to illustrate, then we are ready to play the coffee shop ink simulation and start with the brief. But before I do that, let me just check with Kieran and Dr. Samir if there's any questions that we would like to address at this stage.
Yeah, hi team. There's no question from the participants at this moment. I think you're good to continue. In case there is anything, I'll keep
or you
prompting.
can ask them. Yeah. If anybody
if
has
you
a
can,
question, they can just raise the hands and we will open up.
Yeah, sure.
Feel free to ask any question before we just do the live demo.
There's no question, teams. I think we can continue.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks.
So can I just confirm you can see now the game screen?
We can see that.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, good. Wesley, if you switch your camera on, and then I can introduce Wesley Barreto as my colleague. You want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Wesley Barreto. I've been with SIM Institute for the past 3 years, just after my graduation. I graduated from Harriet University in Dubai, and I did computer science. So I'm not from a business background, and hopefully I can make some good decisions today.
Thank you, Wesley. So Wesley will be playing the role of a student with us. So rather than me just demonstrating the simulation, Wesley will tell me what decisions to enter. And by doing that, you'll get a feel for how this particular simulation game works. As you can see here, it's called Coffee Shop Inc. It is a simulation used often in introduction to management courses, can also be used in marketing and entrepreneurship courses, and even I've used it myself in business strategy courses. So it's like a general management simulation. And what you will see is that a number of concepts that are used in these courses are applied in the simulation. I will not mention them all now. You will see them as we go along. This simulation, like many others, can be played in a team. I see here the names of my team members. and I'm currently the editor of the simulation. It says here in Coffee Shop Inc., you manage your own coffee shop company. Just like the original Starbucks mindset, your business will be successful if you have happy employees, because they will make happy customers, and happy customers will lead to sales and profit. You manage this coffee shop company for a period of 5 years. For today, we will only show you 2 or 3 years, and then you will get a good feeling for it. This simulation, like many others, has a student video. And this is really important for instructors who use simulations for the first time. If you don't feel like explaining the whole simulation to your students, just show the video in class, and then they will know what to do. You will not need to explain anything else. So that makes it really easy. Now, this particular simulation allows us to choose between 3 levels of play. Level 1 is really easy. Level 2 has a few more decisions than level 1, so it's a little bit more complex. And in level 3, you don't only manage one coffee shop, but you manage a whole worldwide chain of coffee shops that you're trying to expand. So Wesley, what level shall we play today?
Let's do level 2.
We'll do level 2. Okay. So I click level 2, I go continue, and it says, well, as a first step, I need to choose the location for my coffee shop. I can be in the city center, suburb, or university campus. Each location has a different level of rent and has a different customer group. And I can be successful in any location, it mentions here, as long as I make good business decisions that fit the customers for that location. What location do you choose?
I'll choose the university campus because I was recently a student, so yeah.
Okay, so we see here the university campus. You see many budget-conscious students who want just a caffeine shot, nothing too fancy. So that's fine. Then you have a choice here about vertical integration. Now, as a professor, I've taught the concept of vertical integration to many students, and I can rattle off the whole definition, and students will remember it for the exam, and after the exam, they'll forget it. But if you actually illustrate it with a coffee roasting decision, I've been in India myself, where I've seen wonderful coffee shops with roasting machines, then students will understand the concept of vertical integration. Because if you roast your own coffee, first, your variable cost for coffee beans will go down a bit. Secondly, you can roast the coffee in a way that suits your customers, so you can differentiate your product. But thirdly, of course, you need to buy the machine and depreciate it. So these are the factors that you weigh off against each other. And when you explain it in that way to students, they will never forget what vertical integration is, and they can easily apply it to other industries. Wesley, what is your choice here?
I think I'll just buy roasted coffee.
Okay, any reason?
Yeah, I don't think university students would like find the difference between between coffee that's roasted on site.
Right. Okay. So we'll do that. Now we're in year 1 of the simulation, and we see the news for year 1. Here I'm reminded that I'm playing level 2 in the university campus, and I see a pestle analysis. I see here political, economic, social, technological, and legal trends, and also a competitor analysis. Now again, if I tell students in my class what a pestle analysis is, they will start memorizing, these letters. In this simulation, they see the results of the pestle analysis, and they need to apply these news items into their decision-making, because that's what real managers do. So I will not read through all of these points, but here, for example, we see that a small group of consumers is interested now in organic coffee and fair trade coffee, fair trade being where farmers get a minimum price for their coffee beans. It says the university is quiet in the evenings. At the university, there are no coffee shops yet. Some faculty make their own coffee in the staff room. So there's other points too, but in the interest of time, we will not go through all of these points. And then I make decisions. And here I see that I can make decisions about marketing and human resources. And further down, I also make one decision about operations. So if you think about marketing as the 4 Ps, we've already decided on the place. Then here we can also decide on the product, the price, and promotion. It is explained to me here that I can serve ordinary coffee or fair trade or organic or fair trade and organic. And with students, this can lead to great discussions about ethical marketing. And you can ask your students, well, who would pay more for fair trade coffee or organic coffee? And some students will say, yes, I will pay more. And other people will say, no, they don't. And that leads to excellent discussions. Of course, if you move for fair trade or organic coffee, you're differentiating your product and your variable cost will go up a little bit more. Wesley, what do you choose?
I think we'll go for fair trade, but not organic. Just from the news, I remember seeing that.
Okay. And then the average price of a cappuccino in the city is currently $3. You're at the university. How much do you want to charge?
I'll keep it the same for now.
Okay. And promotion expenditure, there's a default value here of 8,000. That's what the competition spends. What would you do?
I think I'll half it because I remember reading in the news that there's less competition in the university. So yeah,
Okay.
maybe
That's
no
fine.
need to spend.
Okay. So then on the human resources side, we can hire more people or we can fire people or keep it the same. If I fire people, there's a small redundancy payment. It might impact my business, but of course, I will also save cost. What's your choice?
Let's hire one person.
Okay. And then how much shall we pay them? The average salary in the industry is $24,000.
Maybe pay like 500 more, just slightly more.
Okay, we'll see if that makes people happy. And then what about training expenditure? The competition spending 1,000 per employee per year.
I would spend maybe 250 more. Okay, 200. Yeah.
200 more. Good. And then the final decision is about operations. You want to open in a day or daytime and evening?
Just the day because it's quiet in the evenings.
Okay, there's no evening classes yet at university. So now I've made my decisions. I will enter them and see the results in a dashboard. And I see, well, my employees are really happy, so are my customers. But my sales revenue is 360,000. I see here this neutral smiley, which gives me the feedback that I'm doing okay, but maybe I could have done better. And actually, I'm told here that my annual operating profit for this year is 55,000, and my target is 100,000. So I'm a little bit below my target. And my cumulative profit for all the years until now is, of course, the same amount because I've played only 1 year. But students here, they get taught that, they should be trying to make at least 100,000 per year on average or 500,000 in cumulative operating profit after 5 years. And here I got some more feedback. And that feedback can help me make better decisions in the future. Then I see key performance indicators, and I see here employee and customer satisfaction again. I see the number of drinks I sell, and this will be useful information for when I move down to future years and I can think about developments. In this simulation, just like with many others, students can copy the tables to clipboard and paste them into Excel if they want to do further analysis or do presentations with it. Together, with the income statement, the KPIs, they almost form a balanced scorecard. It's not completely organized as one, but if that's one of the topics that you choose, it'll be easy to link it to this. So then here we see the income statement, and my feeling is that the costs may be a little bit on the high side, given the salary and recruitment decisions that you made. But we'll see for year 2 if there's anything that you want to change, and then probably we'll leave it at year 2. But here we see the news for year 2, Interestingly, there's a trade war, and that, of course, is a great discussion for students today. The economy is growing fast, so actually there's staff shortages leading to wage increases. Customers are becoming more aware of environmental impact of chemicals and the benefit of organic coffee. And there's now actually the vending machines on the campus are selling fair trade coffee only. So I will not tell Wesley what to decide, but these are indeed things that you can take into consideration. I didn't highlight yet, by the way, every page in the simulation has these motivational quotes by famous people that link, to the contents of the page. And students really enjoy these also. Let me move to decisions and Wesley ask you, do you want to change your coffee type decision?
Yeah, I think I'll go for organic.
Okay,
because
no
of the
longer fair
news.
trade.
Yeah.
And the average price is now $3.25. What do you want to do there?
I think I'll keep it at 3. What's the next level after 3?
Well, if you go down, then it's $2.75.
Okay, I'll keep
So
it
it's
at
an
3.
increment. Yeah, it's in increments of 25 cents. And a promotion?
So I'll spend more actually on promotion. I think I'll spend back to 8,000 because the vending machine's popular.
Okay, you have more competition now. And but you're deciding to charge less than the market average. What about staffing? First of all, recruitment?
No, I won't recruit anyone more
Okay.
because the
Yeah,
economy.
and you will not get rid of anybody either.
No.
Okay, and the salary in the market now it's 25,000.
Yeah, I'll match the market.
Okay, and training expenditure.
Yeah, I'll keep that the same.
Okay, and open in day or evening?
Don't think there are night classes yet, so
No.
Yeah, the daytime only.
We'll keep it like this. Good. So then we enter decisions again. We see actually that the employees are a little bit less happy because we're not paying a salary premium, but our sales have gone up a bit and our profits have gone up a bit. So we're doing not bad actually, even though it's still here a red smiley, but we're making progress towards achieving the targets that we need to get. And then now I see, of course, how my performance has developed over time. So maybe I'll keep it there for asking Wesley for decisions. Just to show you here now, there is more news in year 3. There's also available for students a decision history where they see all the decisions that they've taken and they're expressed in nice ways. So, for example, is your pricing, is it lower or higher than the market? And then in all of our simulations, we have a glossary of terms where the main terms in the simulation are explained to students in a way that will help them understand it easily. And these are also terms that very often will appear in your course. So again, the game is a perfect link between the topics of your course and the real world. And these are terms that, you want students to be talking about. And I've heard many professors say, finally, I see my students talk with enthusiasm about depreciation or about other concepts that may otherwise come across as a little bit dry. So this is the simulation experience. Thank you so much, Wesley, for volunteering.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. I will open it again for questions and comments, and then I will just also want to share with you how to debrief and also show you the facilitator interface.
Sure. Tim, I had one question. See, this particular activity which we did now, we showed just a flavor of it, But how long can one do a simulation in a classroom of, say, 60 to 90 people? Few hours, or how does it work?
Yes. So there's no real limitation on how many people you have in the class. So these simulations are sometimes used with 800 students even in a class. So there are simulations of various lengths. This one that we've just done, you've seen it has 3 levels. And on average, every level of play would be 45 to 60 minutes.
Okay.
Right? There are other simulations that are an hour and a half, or even some simulations that take, let's say, 10 hours. And then typically faculty split that over multiple class periods.
Sure. Sure.
There is a raise of hand. Vijay Lakshmi, you want to ask a question? Should I allow you to talk or?
Yeah, allow them to talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Vijay Lakshmi ji, are you able to?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Tim, I just wanted to ask you that most of the times the simulation is demonstrated only across subject such as strategic management or across competitions or across competitive markets. How can we use this best in other subjects as well, such as in finance or in HR or in operations? That is something that I wanted to ask you.
Thank you very much for that question. I really appreciate it. My answer is that there are actually now many, many simulations that are specific to these disciplines that you mentioned. So in the early days, let's say 20 years ago, nearly all simulations were about competitive markets and strategy and marketing. But now, if you would look, for example, on the Harvard Business Impact Platform, and you can select there by discipline, and you select, let's say, operations or supply chain, you will see a range of simulations only about that. Finance is a topic where there are quite a number of simulations available. We as Sim Institute have earlier this year brought out the Human Resources Management simulation, People Analytics. So there are more and more good simulations available outside this competitive market arena. But thank you for raising that point.
Yeah, we have one more raise from Dr. Santosh. I'm going to allow Dr. Santosh. Yeah.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, team. This is Dr. Santosh, and I lead online education in the country. So, two questions from my side. What is the way we can use the simulations in an online education environment where students and learners are not at one place but scattered during the synchronous classes, which is online live classes? Or can it also be used as a preparatory into the asynchronous ways, and then probably a debrief or a shorter play can happen in online classes and then followed by a debrief? The second question is also like in case my faculties would be willing to partner with you to for the development of the simulations is something which is possible. That's the two questions.
Right. So my answer to your first question is you can do it exactly in the way that you wish. I have done many, many sessions online where we have a large group of people. They all get their username and password. If you have the email addresses of your students or you have some learning management system, you can just put on the login details there, and they will all log in. And what's nice in a system like Zoom or other systems like it, you can put students in breakout rooms, and they can be in groups of 3 or 4, and they can just work on the simulation together. And you get really nice dynamics. And as a facilitator, you don't need to look over their shoulders the whole time anyway. The students can call you into their breakout room when they have a question, And also then what I often do is I just circulate among breakout rooms. And I join each one maybe for 30 seconds and I say, is everything going okay? I make sure I don't interrupt them too much. And then they can ask any questions if they have, and then I move on. So doing it online really works well. But if you have different formats in mind, like the ones that you suggested, that can also work. Really, everything works. The only thing I find that works with difficulty is if you have half the people physically together and half the people online. Then it gets a little bit confusing. It's better to do either one or the other. In terms of developing simulations, my advice to faculty would be first to develop something themselves. Let's say a simple thing in Excel, and get people to play games with you and test it in class. We do work with people to develop simulations, but to be honest, it's not an easy or a short process. So it happens, but we're a little bit careful with how we do that because we want to make sure that everything we'll develop is of the standard that we need.
Sure. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Santoshji. I'm promoting Sachit for allowing to talk. Yeah. Sachit.
Hello, Mr. Tim, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm also from online department. I'm in MIT Online. So I'm also dealing with the students who are studying online. And my question is a little bit similar to that Dr. Jha has asked, where can we use the simulation as an assessment tool where we can give the conceptual understanding via books and the learning about the concept via video lectures and everything. But what about the assessment when the real learning, whether they understood the concept or not, which is coming through the simulation, as you suggested that they will apply these concepts of marketing, 4Ps and other things. So can we integrate these kind of things in the assessment where we can get the evaluation over the students and we get the reports that how somebody has performed, that in students can we retrieve the Excel sheet of their students' performance?
Yes.
Because,
Excellent. So thank you for your question. Let me just share with you, to answer your question, the facilitator interface. And the main thing that is relevant for your question is here, the class results page. This is available usually for any simulation that you might use. And we see here all the games played by students in your class. In this case, there's only one, but you see them all. And you see here the name of the student or the names of the students in the team. Here, when was the game played, what level did they play, the location, and their main performance metrics. And if you have a list of students here, you can just click any button here in order to sort the column. And then what's nice also, when you debrief the simulation with students, you can say, well, let's imagine that this student is the winner. This student has the highest cumulative profit. Then you can click on the view button and you enter the game of that student. And you can say, well, dear student, please explain to me why you made these decisions and what results you got, and maybe highlight any good or bad decisions that you made. So that answers really, I think, two things. One is the results are all available to you. And second, you can see the details of games for either learning assessment or for debrief purposes. And you can export the whole file here as a CSV file, which then becomes Excel. I'd like to then also answer your question, if I may, with just one other point that you see here on this slide, which is that you can, of course, use the scores to assess learning, and that's fine. But I would, as I mentioned earlier, more recommend learning reflections, which can be individual or in groups, and they can be written or as presentations, And then you can ask these kinds of questions. How did you play the game? What results did you get? Why did you get these results? What did you learn, and how does this learning relate to your course? And I have a rubric for that, which I'm happy to share with people. But in this way, it's of course more work in terms of grading, but you're more able to assess real learning than just the results. And again, ChatGPT won't help them with it because it's based on their decisions and results. So if you would wish, you could also do a combination. You could, use the actual score, and you could use an element of this.
Thank you.
Okay,
I'm
thank you.
promoting Rahul Roy. Rahul, you have a question?
Yeah, I mean, not exactly a question. Just wanted to share my 2 cents on this as well. Always a pleasure to attend a session by Tim. Honestly, one of the most prolific simulation authors on our platform. And also just wanted to share that simulations has been one of the fastest growing content types on our platform. And for everyone on the call who don't know who I am, my name is Rahul Roy. I'm a strategic relationship manager at Harvard Business Impact, and I work with our institutional partners in south and east of the country. And like Tim was saying, it honestly is a great way to put students in a place where they are able to practice their decision making, and for faculty members to tie all of that experience with the theory and the fundamentals of business as well, using the debrief slides that Tim was talking about. So fantastic session, and hopefully a lot of value add to be taken away from this.
Thank you, Rahul. I have two more in queue, so I'm going to allow more people to come in. I have Mr. Mukund Prasad, who I'm allowing to just talk here. Mukundji?
So, first of all, good afternoon to all of you. Sameer, Kiran, seeing both of you for a long time. And Tim, good afternoon. I have been teaching simulation for some time. I have been a user of another product, Capstone, which is a longer simulation, and which is more on how people deal with different levels of situations in 3-4 stages. This 1 hour simulation, how effective it is? Do you think it is effective? Because unless you make students do, they are also bored of listening to the explanations and lectures. They need to do something with their own hand. And do you think a faculty can really do justice on simulation in 45 to 60 minutes?
Thank you for your question. The simulations you mentioned are long and often used in capstone classes, where you consolidate, many previous courses, and there isn't actually a lot of teaching of new materials. So that can work in that context. But in most other courses, actually, professors also need some time to teach things. You need to have skills and knowledge that you're going to implement in the simulation. So I always favor a variety of teaching and learning approaches within one course. I think there's even a risk if you use only a simulation, then even that might get a little bit monotonous for students. If you use a simulation and class discussions and exercises and maybe a case study, then students will never get bored. The other response to your question is many of the shorter simulations, including the one that we've just shown, they have a replay value. So you can play them first, and then afterwards, you can maybe say, let's play the same level and see if I can improve my score. Or like you've seen, we have level 1, 2, and 3 available, so you can play all levels. So very often in the simulations that we make, which are, let's say, between 1 and 1.5 hour playing time, as faculty would be engaged with them for about, let's say, 2 weeks, 4 class periods. And that will not fill the whole course, but it will be an important part of the course. And it's, of course, always a part that, again, consolidates everything else. So that's my response. I would say, there's value, to long and short simulations depending on your requirements.
So we have 4 more on the queue, so we just take them also. I'll just take 2 more. In fact, there are people are waiting. I'll allow Dr. Manish Mansi. Yeah, Dr. Mansi, your question.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to talk to Tim. From our level, though simulation is very difficult and a bit to begin with time consuming, but I agree that the work definitely reaches students. At my level, I am a professor in economics. What I am doing is I am converting these simulations and these concepts in economics into small animated videos, which is helping to reach the students very fast, especially regional language students who have difficulty in getting concepts, especially in English. So can these animated videos be part of simulation?
Well,
that's my question.
Good. So I applaud your innovative approaches. And I think as instructors, we all need to keep on innovating and trying things and see what works with our students. There are often videos in simulations. And I think as an instructor and as a simulation designer, you just want to make sure that what you make is engaging. So I agree, often videos can help with that.
So, Dr. Mansi, just to add, in the Harvard Business Impact simulation, there are a lot of videos and other interactive tools made available which you will be using during the simulation.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you will have seen in the coffee shop simulation also, you have a student video. You don't have a student 20-page guide to read. No, you have a video that explains people how to play.
Thank
So
you.
this video, my small question, Tim, these videos which we have are also for training faculties on how to use the simulation, right?
Yes, they are, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Tim, there are 3-4 lineup, but I will take one more, Imtiaz Ji, right now, allowing Imtiaz Ji to speak. Imtiaz Ji, you can hear me?
And introduce yourself also, sir.
Yeah. Imtiaz Ji, please introduce yourself also.
My name is Imtiaz Pasha. Hello, Tim. I'm the president of Yangpoo Institute of Management. And we've been working with Harvard for a couple of years now. It's been very useful to us. We obviously find the simulations to be interesting. But my question is that when you framed the simulations, we spoke more about location, people's salary, and all of that. And I think what people would like to know, students would like to know, are also on other points like particularly strategy and service and innovative methods of marketing and looking at what competition is doing, what can you do better, or some solutions like that for them to think about. Would that be part of your simulation, or would that be in another subject or something?
Right. So to some extent, the points that you mentioned are covered in this particular simulation. But more generally, I think as an instructor, you need to realize that there's many simulations that are available, and you will choose the one that best fits what you want your students to learn about. So maybe some of the points you mentioned, Mr. Pasha, you would find maybe not adequately covered in the simulation that I just showed you. And then you would say, let's see if there's another simulation that covers it better. And then you could make a different choice. So clearly, the simulation I've just shown you is for a specific audience, and it's relevant for that, for the courses that I mentioned before. And then faculty will make judgments about if that's suitable for them.
All right, thank you.
Right, Tim. So I think I have one more hand. Do we have? I'll take Shiv Kumarji once again. Shiv Kumarji, you can speak, and then we can continue the session because we're already stretching our time. But then we can continue.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. I am Shokmar from the New College. My question is that this does these simulations incorporate this uncertainty? I'm asking about a black swan event, something like that.
About the black swan.
Black swan, something like that. Uncertainty, unforeseen. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. So simulations are a great way to do that. In this particular simulation, suddenly in year 4, you will get something like an economic crisis. You see a trade war. And also in some of our other simulations, you have a pandemic. You have actually a war in a neighboring country. You have all kinds of, let's say, unforeseen big events. And in our simulations and also in other simulations, sometimes the occurrence of these events can be switched on and off by the facilitator. So that's also really nice. Also coming back to the earlier question, sometimes facilitators let students play, let's say first, an easy version of the simulation where these black swan events don't happen. And then they play it again and the facilitator switches on these massive risks that materialize. So yes, and of course that's an important part of the learning for students these days, to be able to understand that these things can happen and learn how to respond to them.
Yeah, I think, do we have
Professor
time to take more?
Shivkumar,
Yeah.
the idea is there is a lot of control in the hands of the faculty members when they run a simulation. You can introduce lot of elements of surprise and lot of hurdles also during the simulation process. You can control what level of toughness or activity you want to play the simulation. So lot of these things are inbuilt in the simulations. This, like the black swan event being an example, and you can also introduce a lot of customizations and change the course of the simulations for the participants to navigate it. So it's quite customized as against the PPT teaching which we do.
Yes, and if I can add one point to that, usually people who are new to teaching with simulations, I recommend to them just to use all the standard settings.
Yes.
Don't worry about customizing. And then after you've used it once or twice, then you can tweak it.
Yeah. I think on the chat, Mohammed Tahir Khan, you want to just activate? I'm just activating your mic. Yeah.
Sir. No, thank you, sir. Sir, this is Mohammed Tahir Khan from the New College, Chennai. I have a question. First of all, I would like to appreciate the wonderful and valuable session. A lot of inputs there. My question is, with regards to the simulation, what is the most ideal way to take simulation for a good strength, like maybe 70 students? What could be the most ideal way? Should we go for a long session, or should it be small breakups between the sessions? So how to go about it? What would be your suggestions, sir?
Right. So whether you break it up or not, I think does not depend on the number of students. You can break it up or not depending on your own wishes and criteria. I think often there are benefits to breaking things up, especially at universities where you have many class sessions, because it will allow people to do something. They will even reflect on it between classes and then go back to it. So I think using a simulation for multiple sessions is beneficial. If you have 70 people or any other number, you can indeed get people to play in groups. My view usually is that people enjoy playing in groups. It becomes less competitive. They have more fun. They start learning from each other. But then, of course, you need to make that consistent with your grading policy. But that would be my advice.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that.
Hi, Pallavi. Dr. Pallavi,
Hi.
I have,
Yes.
yeah, you can
Um,
also switch
Switch
on your
on the camera.
camera if you wish to.
yeah, sure. Give me
Yeah.
2 seconds. Hi, very good evening. So first, I would like to congratulate you for this successful webinar on simulation. It is indeed a very insightful session for all of us. And as a facilitator, I also believe that simulation plays a pivotal role in strengthening the learning of students. Um, I have some questions actually. So, if I, as a facilitator, wants to use your platform for using this particular simulation in my course, business strategy or marketing management, um, is it paid simulation or anyone can use this simulation platform? And
Sure.
what is the total number of participant? The total, what is the total number of participant? 30 or 40 or 50 students can join
Sure.
this simulation and all.
So
Yeah.
Pallavi, if I may know, which institution are you from? Are you a Harvard client institution?
No, actually, I'm speaking from Geetam School of Business, Visakhapatnam.
Sure, madam. So there are 2 or 3 ways on how you can use the simulations. One, I think Geetam, we work with some of your teams, but we will reach out to you. So institutions, enroll and subscribe to simulations, case studies, and
Yeah, we are using
products
Harvard
from.
cases.
So the simulations also you can subscribe to. It's a part of the package, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
simulations also you can ask for. Second, you can play it individually and big format groups of 500 and 600 people also. Like Tim was mentioning, he's done simulations for 800 people online. We have ourselves in class done simulations for 200 people divided into groups of 3 or 4. So you can play on various things. For faculty, and because we have a lot of academicians on the group, we also have a Harvard Business Impact Premium Educator login that
Okay.
you can subscribe to. It is free of charge. It is for your own learning of simulations. You can't use them in the classroom, but once
Exactly.
you get comfortable, then you can subscribe to Harvard Business Impact, reach out to us at Yangpoo or at Harvard, and then we can activate that for you.
Sir, can you please repeat one more time? Harvard Business Impact Simulation.
Impact. That's right.
I
It's a
can,
platform.
join as a user.
Yes.
I cannot share the tool with my students, but it is only for my learning.
Educators for your own learnings.
Exactly.
For students, you will have to subscribe with us, and then the access will be made available. How the same way how you use the case studies.
Yeah, exactly.
Similar fashion.
Exactly. Harvard Business Impact.
Impact. Yeah. We will reach out to you, ma'am. We'll send you a mail on.
Sure. I will definitely.
Sure.
And one more thing, can we get this recording
Of the
this
program?
webinar?
Yes. Until we are comfortable to share the recording, right?
Yeah.
Kiran, are we sharing the recording of this session?
We'll do that.
Super. Yes, madam. You shall have that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Samir. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I have Dr. Farad with us. Dr.
Yes,
Farad,
Dr. Farad.
you can switch on your camera and.
Yes, we can see
my
Farad.
camera is already run.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, Dr. Farad, we can see you.
No, you are on mute, Dr. Farad.
Wonderful connecting with you, Tim, Kiran, and Samir. Fantastic idea to have such a session and to get inputs. I think that is most important because the audience will get to know how to effectively use simulations. Through this platform, I would like to convey what Tim very nicely explained, that any session for that matter, as far as simulations is concerned, it has to be embedded or taken along with case studies, along with Excel sheets, so that the class is absorbing and enticing. But what I have seen in many of the sessions is it starts with simulation and ends with simulation. I think that is something that as educators, we need to bring in that uh, diversity as far as connecting with students, because students will be bored after some time listening to the same simulation. Take it from there. For example, of a coffee shop, we could have, in fact, the faculty could take separately and then work on a BEP, break-even point, and tell this is the BEP that we could have attained. This type of things could be done, but all said and done, the simulation is one great enabler in terms of explaining the concepts in the best possible way. Thank you, Tim, for the wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Tim, I think most of the raised heads gone. We can continue the session and come to your section where you wish to continue. Yeah.
Yes, well, that's great. Thanks to all the excellent questions that we have had. I don't really have much more that I need to discuss with the slides. I would maybe make 2 more points in conclusion. One is that faculty should remember that there are resources available for every simulation. So they include slides that you can use for debriefing and even for briefing sometimes. And importantly, you have a teaching note. And the teaching note is often very lengthy, but it will include a lot of detail that you shouldn't read, but that you can use as a reference guide. And that then also relates to my other point, which is don't think that you need to prepare in infinite detail everything about the simulation before you use it. Let's imagine you get a question from a student in class, and usually the question will be, why did I get this result? Right? They make a decision, they say, why did I get this result? As an instructor, first I would turn the question back to the student and say, why do you think you got this result? And get them to think rather than act like you are the student's calculator. And after that, if they're still not clear about it, then I might help the student with the thinking. And then if I need, then I go to the teaching note. And I say, I'll look up the decision that the student made, and I will see the impact. And that teaching note is always there as a reference guide for me. So these are the resources available for you, teaching note and slides. And then I'm happy to answer other questions, but my final point is just to reiterate, get started. The first time you use a simulation, you will not be perfect. The 80th time that you use a simulation, you will still have things to learn. Just like educators are continuous learners themselves, in whichever way you teach, I'm sure you always try to improve. And the same is true for teaching the simulations. The first time you do it, I'm sure it will be great. But over time, you will adapt your approach and get even better.
Yes, Dr. Raj, you have a question? Dr. Raja. Dr. Raja? I think he's just lost him. Yes, we're happy to take more questions if you have. And System is done from their side. I'm going to also share actually a slide which will help us to give us a feedback on how we can further improve this kind of sessions and come back with much more better improved programs for you regularly on the Authors Lounge. So allow me to share. Tim, are you sharing your slide at this moment?
No, I think Dr. Raja has a question. He's put it
is there?
on the, yeah. Dr. Raja,
Okay.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Kiran, promote him on the panel, please.
I'm trying to do that. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do that. Last
No
2
problem.
minutes, I was trying to do that.
So, Dr. Raja, you can just type your question. We will pick it up from there.
I will try.
Yes. You can unmute yourself, Dr. Raja.
Yes.
Yeah, unmute yourself.
Sir, I have a question. Can I go ahead, sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, while doing this simulation process, can we able to teach research methodology in terms of giving interpretation and some more of statistical tools also? Can we include that one? Would it be possible?
So I have two thoughts, and then let me know if that answers your question. There are some simulations that use more statistical tools than others. So we developed one simulation called People Analytics, and you see scatter plots between different variables. You can download the data and do statistical analysis. So some simulations have that and others don't. There are actually also simulations that don't have numbers at all, that are more on the behavior side. So there's a whole breadth, and there will be some that include the points that you mentioned. Another thought that comes up, and I hope it also relates to your question, is if you have lots of classes using simulations and you keep the data of the... Sorry, there's just some interference.
Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
If you keep the data of the decisions of your students, then you can get really interesting insights about any biases that they have. So simulations themselves can be a source of research going forward.
Rahul, you have a question? Rahul Chaudhary. Rahul, able to hear me? Okay, he's put on a chat. How can simulation help leadership team in scenarios, planning, and risk mitigation in uncertain business environment? That's the question on the chat for you, Tim.
Good. And just two comments above it, I see a similar question from Devi saying, how can simulation techniques get people to understand uncertainty and variability, in this case in financial models? So this is really great about simulations. Again, you need to pick the right simulation for your needs, but students can learn about what risks happen because things will happen to them without any serious consequences. So again, in our simulations, I mentioned you can have a pandemic, but you can also have the government of a country that you operate in that nationalizes your business. You can have a flood or a storm or an electricity outage when you run a hospital. You can have all kinds of things happening to you in different simulations and settings, and you can have different scenarios. And the good thing about simulation games is that people are playing a game and they care enough about the outcome to take it seriously. So they will really try to optimize, and then they will be happy with the result, or they will be disappointed or shocked with the result. And that all leads to learning that will then help them cope with these kinds of scenarios in the real world in a better way. Sometimes professors ask me, why can't I just run a scenario and see the outcome of all of my decisions without committing to a decision? And then I say, well, then it wouldn't be a game anymore, and there's no consequences to what you do. Then it just becomes a calculator, and you can play endlessly until you get the best outcome. No. In simulation games, you commit, you make decisions, you share your success or your failure, and as a result, you learn. And this whole concept of uncertainty and risk is, I think, at the core of simulations, because you don't know exactly what outcome you will get from your decisions.
Right. I think we have addressed most of the questions and hand raise. Happy to take more if there is. In the meanwhile, I mean, we are very, very thankful to, I think one Bhavini has come in. Bhavini, I will just take you in. Just give me a minute. Hand raise. Two more. Hold on, please. Yeah. So I am allowing Bhavini to speak. Yeah. Oh,
Hi.
hi.
This is Dr. Bhavani.
Hi, Bhavani Sundhi.
Yes. Thanks, Tim, for the wonderful presentation on simulation. Looks absolutely lucid for starters. I also teach strategy, and I just want to ask you a quick question. Now, innovation is something that we would love to introduce to the students while I teach strategy, because I want to let them think out of the box. And there's a possibility that we always teach them in simulation. I've always seen a linear equation that happens because you have a set of interventions and then there is an outcome. But nonetheless, when they go outside the world, that it's absolutely not linear at all. So, do you think, as a teacher, can I tweak this and bring in some valuation done for some innovation? It could be absolutely not the real time value that we bring in, but suppose a student brings in an innovation. Can you put a figure to that and say, okay, this is the value of your innovation, and this is how your business could change once this innovation is brought in? Is there a feasibility like that for a teacher to add or tweak it in a way that
Right.
we bring the unknown into this?
Okay. So there are other simulations out there that are more specifically on the innovation topic. So I would recommend that you look at these. Simulations are, and this was also an earlier question in the chat, I think, simulations are to some extent customizable. So there you can see what's possible. And then, of course, like was also mentioned by one of the people asking a question, is you can combine a simulation with other activities in your class. You can say, let's say in the debrief or midway through, you say, hey, this innovation you put, let's imagine in the coffee shop simulation we saw now, to introduce fair trade coffee. Can we estimate what would be the value of that? And then you can get them to do other exercises with it.
Right. Perfect.
Did I answer all the parts of your question?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Bhavini. Right. Since no questions are coming up, let's sum it up. And if meanwhile something is coming up, so that's a wonderful session. I mean, Samir, you want to sum it up, please?
Yeah, and Kiran, I think we should put the feedback form, and this is just the beginning, is what I would like to say. Simulations, a lot of people have perceptions that they are difficult to operate and it requires huge investments, but that's not the case. I think the idea today was to just demonstrate that instead of just teaching through PPTs in the classroom, which could many a times be a monologue, our students would enjoy interactions and conversations. This is just the first part. In 1 hour, you can't learn simulations, but the idea is to open up our minds to new ways of teaching and learning. So that's the starting point for us. We have a small request to all of you. There is a feedback QR code, which we would like you to scan and reply to so that we know how we can improve what we tried to do today. Also, you can give us some suggestions, and we are going to request Dr. Tim to really take us through longer sessions as we go ahead in this journey. But at the same time, you would like to maybe know more about case studies or career readiness solutions from Harvard Business Impact, or in any ways you want in-person sessions. So Tim is also a pro in in-person training sessions, and also they provide a lot of simulations. So any areas where you think Yangpoo University Partners, Harvard Business Impact, Dr. Tim's company, if we can be of any help to you, in this journey, we would be happy to support there. So thank you very much. Next month, we will come again with a newer section. I think it's a great start. 1,000+ people registered for the program today. Almost half of them attended this on a weekday. I think we are set for bigger things together. So thank you very much. And thank you very much, Tim, for your time. For people to know, Tim is based out of Dubai but operates across the globe. So thank you very much, Tim. And Kiran, fantastic
Thank you.
hosting the show.
So much.
Thanks to a lot of senior leaders who supported and encouraged their faculty members to attend this session. And again, compliments to the Yangpoo and Harvard team to put this together. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.